Are you ringing?
Oh, yeah. It's my new banana phone. Sorry, 1 second. Hello? Mr. President! Sorry, I need to take this. Uh-huh. What? That sounds extremely important, but I'll have to make that my second top priority because my first priority is welcome to JRev! Sorry, Mr. President, I will get to that right now. Sorry, I'm going to... Hey, JRev, welcome back. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited that we're back together again today.
It's so good, but you know what?
What?
I've got a little bit of allergies at the moment, and I've had the sneezes lately, and I've run out of tortilla tissues, so
I know.
I've had to start.
Oh no.
Oh, wow. That was stuck all the way up there. I guess it wasn't allergies after all.
I don't want to go anywhere near that.
I guess maybe all the sneezing was just pointing out that I was so bored that I just needed to manifest this bucket of boredom busters, JRev. There's something inside other than boogies. Did you want to see what it is?
I'm curious about what the idea is, but I don't want to go anywhere near that bucket, thanks.
I'll handle this. Yeah.
Nope, don't. Nope.
You ready?
Flung some snot on my arm.
Sorry about that. I'll try to be a bit more delicate with this one.
Oh, that was worse!
Parachute person?
Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh yeah! Let's go do that! Today we are going to be making a parachute person. So what we're going to need is someone who could be our person. So I've got a little Lego figure here. It could be a doll or an action figure or an army man or anything that you might have about this size, maybe a little bit bigger, but not too heavy. We're also going to need a normal dinner napkin. This might come from McDonald's or a barbecue or something, but there's a good chance that there's some of these lying around in a cupboard at your house. We're also going to need some string, some sticky tape, and some scissors. So here we have our napkin. We're going to open it up. And we're going to need to reinforce the corners with the tape. Take a piece of tape, grab a corner, and stick it. And then on the other side as well. So both sides should have tape. And we're going to repeat that for the other three corners. So now we have our corners reinforced with tape, and that's going to let us cut some holes in it without this tearing. And it's going to be particularly important when we use string to connect our parachute person to this parachute. So, with scissors, what you're going to want to do is fold this in half, fold the corner in half, and then you're going to very carefully cut a small triangle, and that will give you a little square hole in the middle of the tape. So you're going to want to do that another 3 times to the other corners. Make sure you get a grown-up's help with this if you're using sharp scissors. You can also use a hole punch, but I've found that the scissors are quite a quick and easy way to do things. Well, now we've got all of our corners reinforced with tape. We're going to need to use our string to connect into these corners. So you're going to want 2 pieces of string about the same length, and you're going to take one end of the string and you're going to get one of the corners, thread it through, make a loop, and make a knot. You're going to want to do that on the other side. Don't do it across, because then things will get tangled. You're going to want to go from here to here. So using the other end of the string, I'm going to thread it through. Cross it over, make a loop. And there you go. We're going to do that same thing to the other 2 corners. And there you go, we're almost done. So you can see how this parachute is going to work. We're going to need to tie off some armholes, some loops here for our little person. So you're going to want to take one of the pieces of string and get to the bottom of it. And you're going to want to make a loop. Pull that through and make an armhole. So you should have a little loop there in the middle. You're going to do that to the other side as well. So now we have 2 loops. This is where our Lego figure comes in. I'm going to put 1 loop under one arm and 1 loop under the other arm. So now we should be connected. So now all you need to do is find a spot that you can drop this from. You hold it by the parachute and then dangle the man, and then you let go and see him fall slowly to the ground.
I've never made one of those before.
You know what? I haven't either until just now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you get some time that you can maybe make your own parachute person.
Yeah, I liked it because I like doing science experiments, and really that was actually like a physics science lesson.
Gravity.
Yeah, incredible. How does gravity work?
I don't know, something to do with apples?
That's what I've heard. Maybe we need to ask Science Mel.
Maybe. And maybe she could write into the JRev letterbox.
Yeah. Oh, the JRev letterbox.
JRev letterbox!
That's better. Normally we have to make a big deal of it, or we don't actually, the letterbox doesn't actually appear.
Activate, yeah. But JRev, if you've been doing anything at all, whether it's going on an adventure, or maybe you've been crafting, or maybe you've been singing some songs, or doing some dance moves, we would love to see it. You just have to send it to us.
Where?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm so excited. Whoa! I got so excited.
Feels hot.
I know, friction. More science. If you want to send in whatever you've been doing, we'd love to see it. So get a grown-up to help you. Send it into this address, and we can put it in our gallery.
Oh, speaking of the gallery, I'm really excited this week. Shall we go?
Yes, please.
Okay, you know the drill. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Let's all go to the gallery.
What is that? A football.
Do you have a friend who makes you laugh? I have lots of friends who make me laugh, and sometimes it's at an appropriate time and other times it's not at an appropriate time. I remember being in school and getting into trouble because my friend would make me laugh when the teacher was talking. Not a good idea. But sometimes you just can't help it, and the more that you try not to laugh, the more that the laugh kind of comes out of you. You just can't stop it. You know what I'm talking about. First of all, it starts off with then it turns into a weird noise that kind of comes out the back of your throat, and the more that you try and stop it, it just comes out. You can't help it. I wonder if you're like me and you've gotten into trouble when your friends make you laugh. Now, I'm not encouraging you to laugh at the wrong times, but I am here to tell you that I really, really, really do understand what it's like when you just can't keep it in any longer. The laughter has to go somewhere. And do you know that this whole talk about laughter just spilling out of us, that is reminding me a lot about how God's love works. See, when you meet God and you experience his love for you, it kind of starts filling you up on the inside, like in your heart and in your mind, in your thoughts and in your feelings. And you know what? It makes us feel pretty good about ourselves. And so we want to spend more time with God. And we like to call that prayer. Prayer's just a fancy way of saying, well, it's when we talk to God, but it's also when we listen to what he has to say to us. Think about it this way. It's kind of like if you started off with an empty drink bottle, and the more time that you spend with God, it kind of fills your bucket up and you feel great about yourself and you like hearing the nice things that he thinks about you. And at some point, you kind of get to the point where your drink bottle of your thoughts and your feelings is so full of God's love that this happens. It's impossible to keep it to yourself. Our thoughts and our feelings and our actions just overflow with joy and with love, knowing how much we're loved. And we can't keep it to ourselves. I mean, why would you want to anyway? So like I said before, prayer is just a fancy way of saying, spend time with God. Listen to what he has to say about you. And it'll be amazing to see what happens. It's kind of like when we spend time with that friend that makes us laugh. The more that we hang out with them, the more likely it is that the laughter is going to kind of spill out of us at some point. You just can't control it or contain it. Prayer is really similar. The more time that we spend with God, we get used to hearing his voice. We know what it sounds like. We might not hear it out loud, but we trust the thoughts and feelings that sound like they're from God. Things like, I love you. I think you are made perfectly. I'm really proud of you. Wow, look at you go. Prayer isn't something that you have to do by yourself either. We often like to pray in groups where we can encourage each other and talk to God together, because then we can hear other people's experiences about what they think God's saying to them as well. Prayer doesn't have to be a chore. I mean, you don't even have to use fancy words. Talking to God is literally just like talking to your friend. You can talk to him about anything. You can ask him anything. There's no question that's too big for him. He just really likes to hear from you, and he loves it when we listen to him as well. And it's amazing what God will show us when we spend time with him and talk to him. He might encourage us to look at the world that he's made and to think about how big he is and how wonderful he is by just even looking at a tree that he made and how clever it is that it can grow from something so tiny to something so big. God might remind us of someone who might need some help or someone who might need some encouragement that day that without talking to God, we wouldn't have even thought of them. Praying and talking to God can also be a little bit like, like when you go bowling and you can get bumpers for your lane that kind of keep your ball going in the right direction. Talking to God can remind us of the things that really matter so that we don't get distracted or caught up doing the wrong stuff. So don't forget, the more time that you spend with God, the more likely it is that His love and joy are just going to burst out of you. So if you don't remember anything else from today, I want you to remember this. Praying helps us connect to God so that we can overflow with His love and His joy. So, how do you actually pray? Should we practice together? Okay. These are just some tips that I find really helpful for me. I like to close my eyes sometimes because then I don't get distracted by everything around me. And I either like to put my hands like in my lap or maybe even cross them together so I'm not fidgeting, just to help me concentrate. And then we can just talk. So let's do that now. Dear God, we thank you so much that we can talk to you anytime and anywhere. It doesn't matter how old we are or how young we are. You love to hear our voice and we love hearing from you. Help us to spend time with you so that we can overflow with your love and your joy. Amen. Our memory verse is from John 17:13. I pray that they will experience and enter into my joyous delight in you, so that it is fulfilled in them and overflows. Let's go one more time. John 17:13. I pray that they will experience and enter into my joyous delight in you, so that it is fulfilled in them and overflows.
Hey JRev, guess what time it is? It's a weekly challenge time! So this week, we're going to get you to do a thankful 3 at tea.
That is really hard to say.
It's
Can
a
I
big
try?
mouthful. Yes, please.
Thankful 3 at tea.
Yes, you got it.
Thankful 3 at tea. Thankful 3 at tea. Thankful 3 at tea. What is a thankful 3 at tea?
Well, the idea is that whenever you have a meal, possibly at tea,
What is tea?
dinner,
Oh, what is dinner?
the last meal of the day,
So supper.
supper, generally at after lunch, the
Right.
meal after lunch, the main big meal
My
after
afternoon tea,
lunch. No,
Ah.
unless you have a really big afternoon tea, in which case,
which just rolls into dinner.
yeah, it's just one big meal.
Okay.
So
At
some point,
in the late afternoon
yes,
/ early
not
evening.
morning,
Right.
later in the day, when you have some things to be thankful for.
Oh.
And so if you can sit down with someone in your household and you can share 3 things from your day that you're thankful for.
That sounds cool. Like, that's a great way to praise God for all the cool stuff that's happened during your day.
Yeah, and it helps us all remind us how good we actually have it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Right, well, I'm feeling hungry. I'm ready for tea. So I might head off to go and do my thankfuls, if that's all right.
What are you eating?
I was going to eat some spaghetti.
Oh, I love spaghetti. We've already talked about this, but I'm going to have to wait for it to be cooked. Actually, I'm going to cook it. How about you work on your thankfuls?
Okay, I'll
All right.
stay here and
I'm
do
gonna-
my thankfuls and you can go.
All right, do we have an apron?
Yeah, it's in the cupboard somewhere.
Where are the pots and pans?
You'll find them just...
Do we have cheese?
We do have some
Where's the
cheese.
meat?
The meat's
Can
in
you
the
help me,
fridge.
please?
You need to ask your mum.
Mom?